Knowledge of a foreign language has many advantages, but its development often turns into hard labor. How to learn a language quickly and effectively, and how much time we'll need to study different languages. To be learning a new language is always scary. Thousands of unfamiliar words, complex grammatical structures, and the risk to get into an awkward situation may cool the enthusiasm of any beginner. About the benefits of bilingualism say a lot. Studies show that there is a direct correlation between language proficiency and intelligence, memory skills, and academic achievement. Depending on what your native language and the new language you are trying to master, the training will bring many benefits both in the short term and throughout life. Of course, the smaller the language you are learning related to your home, the harder it gets paragraph the study. Compare, for example, Polish, native Ukrainian language, and Vietnamese. You are learning the language for a new job, to read literature in the original, or just to maintain a conversation. To improve language skills at any age and any initial level. The Foreign Service Institute of the U.S. divides languages into 4 groups according to the complexity of learning for native speakers of English. The first, simplest, are French, German, Indonesian, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian, Spanish, and Swahili. At the second level, the complexity begins to grow. This group includes languages such as Bulgarian, Burmese, Greek, Hindi, Persian, and Urdu, the study of which the average needs 720 hours. The ability to manipulate information and apply it, keep it in memory and discard unwanted items relate to management skills, explains Julie P., professor of neuroscience at the University of Pittsburgh. This is a traditional managerial functions as the management of a group of people juggling large amounts of information, multitasking, ability to prioritize. Lisa Meneghetti, a data analyst from Treviso in Italy, Polu. This is a person who is fluent in 6 or more languages. Meneghetti speaks English, French, Swedish, Spanish, Russian, and Italian. When you undertake learning a new language, if it is not too complicated and requires a significant intellectual effort, says Menege, the biggest problem is to avoid mixing of words. This process is easier with languages that belong to the same language family, because they are more similar, but also higher risk of false friends, similar or identical words in different languages whose meaning is not the same. Approx. Transl. To avoid this, choose a language that is not like on your home, with a different system of writing and throughout the application, for example, Japanese, says Beverly Baker, professor of linguistics and bilingualism at the University of Ottawa. Learn the basics of any language very quickly. Programs for learning languages, like Duolingo or Rosetta Stone, with lightning speed will teach you a few simple phrases and greetings. In order to make language learning a more personal experience, polyglot Timothy Donner advised to read and browse content on the topic that interests you. If you love to cook, buy a cookbook in the language you are learning. If you like football, try to watch the match with commentary in another language, he explains. Even if you recognize only a few words, and the rest will sound like gibberish, you remember these words much better than from a textbook, adds Donner. If it is necessary for business, even the Chinese may not seem so tough. Perhaps you are studying the language in which you once told your family, and you don't know her, or are you in love with the person and want to understand his native language, says Baker. Once you have decided on what you need the language, start planning the daily schedule of the study. Lessons should include a variety of methods. To ask something, to do exercises, to talk on different topics, to ask about the culture, explains Baker. I would not have missed this opportunity, because the speakers of another language and culture is an important motivational factor in further learning. Adults often learn the language, trying to memorize the words and pronunciation in complete silence. They do not try to make the jump to talk and actually use the language, says Fizz. However, in addition to such, the specific purpose of learning a foreign language gives something else. It will teach you to better understand other people and empathize with them, opening the door to another way of thinking and feeling, says Meneghetti. Communication and empathy through language barriers develop in us an extremely useful skill, intercultural competence. It is the ability to build successful relationships with representatives of other cultures.